So I'm going to tell you guys a story. If you follow Group Chat, our other very popular podcast, I mentioned recently that we were having a discussion in our office regarding Black Friday, and someone suggested, uh, to give some context, in all of the Menlo Club advertising on major holidays, Black Friday, we do something called 5-4 Day. We created a holiday out of my birthday. I'm in the ads. We try to do something fun to get people's attention. Black Friday is coming. It's very hard to get people's attention. So many deals, so many sales. Um, we were brainstorming. What should we do? Someone in the office says, "Why don't you do Brown Friday?" And I was like, "I love it. It's incredible because nobody knows what Brown Friday is. You can perceive it as a race thing. I can perceive it as a color thing. You can perceive it as anything, but you're like, what the hell is Brown Friday?" So we have a follow up meeting the following week. I love the idea. Everyone was on board with it. My team, however, wasn't. And I end up finding out, because I wasn't attending one of the meetings, that afterwards the team, certain members of the team, felt that it was inappropriate. And I was like, okay, I can respect that. Who is it inappropriate to? Unclear. No one really gave me a clear answer. I then went on the podcast and I mentioned the entire story and I said, if you find this offensive, then I won't do it. And I said, feel free to DM me. All races, genders, anyone is welcome to comment. No one DM'd me. No one said anything. And I get some pretty harsh criticism for stuff I do. So I didn't expect anything different this time, that I would get criticism for it. No one said anything negative. Everyone was like, it's a great idea. You should do it. One of my friends, Eric Deluxe, says, you know what? If you do it, then you're insinuating Black Friday is about race. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting take. That's at least constructive criticism. And so the time had come to film the content, and I said, you know what? Let's go do it. And let's position it as celebrating a Friday. And that's it. Leave it vague. Leave it to people's interpretation. If you think it's about race, that's up to you. I'm just trying to get your attention. We shot the content. I feel really good about it. It's going to come out in the next, come out during the holidays. And, it was an interesting moment that CEOs and leaders and managers often have to make. This can fall completely flat. It could fail on the most important week of the year, and I would be wrong. And I'm going to have to deal with that. If one, I get some backlash for being insensitive in some way. Two, the sales aren't there. The click through isn't there. People don't react to it. They don't think it's entertaining, so they don't click the ad, which then affects conversions. But ultimately, I have to take the blame, but I'm also willing to make the decision, the hard decision, that if something goes wrong, it's my fault. And I'm okay with that. I can live with that. And as a CEO, you're constantly facing these challenging moments where you're like, all right, what should I do here? I got to make the call, because in my line of work, I need to get attention. I need to make noise. I can't be like everybody else. And occasionally I'm right, and occasionally I'm wrong. I did a campaign 2 years ago for Black Friday with a giraffe. I literally rented a giraffe and had it walk through our warehouse with me. It didn't do well. It got a ton of attention, but did not convert. We did something for my birthday where I smashed a cake on my face, crushed, did phenomenal. But these are all the risks and decisions you make. And I'm using these examples because they're public and everyone's aware, and you can see this actually unfold. And I'm sharing this story because I really want people to understand that when you're a leader or a manager or a CEO, you have to take that risk. You have to make that final decision, and you can't listen to all the noise all the time. And in this particular instance, I'm going against a chunk of the team and doing this, and I feel like it's going to work. And if it works, it's a team effort. I'm not one to rub it in people's faces. But if it fails, it's 100% my fault. I made the call and I can live with it. And I think it's important to learn how you, in your situation, sometimes just need to make the call and know that it's a risk. You can lose confidence in people when you're wrong. If I'm wrong, this doesn't work, then people are going to question my judgment, question my decisions, question if I know what I'm doing. But that's what makes me the boss, and I have to take that risk. And, ultimately, I benefit from the upside of the company the most because I started it. But I also will be punished the most if it doesn't work. And I think a lot of CEOs typically play it fairly safe. And I think that's fine. And I think you can be successful and make things work when you play it conservatively. But over a long period of time, you got to shake things up. You got to make decisions that go against the grain. And that might be with personnel, that might be with marketing, that might be with product. And it's important that you challenge yourself, you disrupt yourself, the company challenges itself, the company disrupts itself. Otherwise, you end up in this kind of stuck circle. And especially any business that's consumer facing, we have to keep people's attention. You understand that like the most popular social media platform of the moment is like people dancing to a song for 10 seconds. That is the attention span of the customer today. So if I can't get your attention, putting up, oh, I make great clothes, buy them, that doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't. So I have to challenge the way we communicate to our customer. That is my decision. Ultimately, I will pay the consequence if I'm not successful with it. And I think, you know, it's really, really tough because I'm nervous that I made the decision. I'm not nervous. I don't want to be insensitive to people. I don't, but like I got to push the envelope. I got to see, will this work or not? Because I need to know how to think about marketing in this new era. Because, you look at companies like, the best example is look at what happened with Burger King, Chick-fil-A, and Popeyes, and the fried chicken kind of thing, and Wendy's. All of that happened from like some weird Twitter beef that someone in social media said, fuck off, our sandwich is better. And it caused a craze that boosted everyone's business. But someone had balls to make that decision. And it may be a social media director, it may be a CEO, but someone as a manager took that risk and said it was okay to go ahead and communicate that. And that to me is inspiring that these big multi-billion-dollar companies are taking that risk. Why aren't I? I feel like I've been playing it too safe in the way we communicate as a brand, as a company. And I'm a believer that if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. And I think we are going to make our statement as a brand going forward that we are about community. We're all about all these things. And how we're going to get your attention is going to be different from other people. And it's just a great lesson. And I'm telling you now, weeks in advance, so you can follow along. I'll do a podcast after Black Friday and tell you if it worked or didn't work. And if it worked, great. If it didn't work, well, why didn't it work? Let's learn from it. So stay tuned and let's see what happens.